version of this will be cut off. Hey Ryan, hey Andrew, how are you doing? How are things in the UK, and how are things where you are, Ryan? I always forget where you are. But yeah, no, thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me on Friday evening where you are. Yeah, thanks Andrew. No, thanks for shouting that out, guys. Hey, there you go. Noob streamer, it happens. I think that's the second time I've done that, where I haven't flipped it back on again when we started. So yeah, a lot to go through in the stream actually. So as you're saying, we got the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands skill trees, which there's a calculator who's come out for that, and I just think we'll just take you through, have a look at that very quickly. Then we have the build guide that I put out earlier this week on the Pyromancer debuff build, which I think is a really good one. I think it's going to really pump up the damage of anyone playing in the team. I think it's about a 290% damage buff, but that includes Captain Hunter, so take a little bit off of that. Because obviously that will only apply, I think, to the damage I'm doing. But for all the other ones, it's all based on the ash that's being applied all the time. So it just really pumps it up. So we should be able to fly through some expeditions at the end. And then there's some news to run through as well. We'll try to probably get through that before we actually get on to the build guide and the expeditions. So I think let's start off with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and I'll just quickly take that. So I mean, first thing to say on that is this, I think Tiny Tina's or Gearbox are doing a great job on releasing a lot of news and information on Tiny Tina's at a very early stage. We've been having almost daily tweets coming out. We've had the developers' diaries coming out on every few days. They've released all of the skill trees for the classes. They've given all the details about a lot of the world, all the different zones, how the game actually plays. They released a demo to a select group of content creators, which I think it would have been nice to have been on there, but given I haven't been following or creating for Borderlands in the past, not a surprise that they stuck with the people who have been following that for a long time. And then they are releasing the final version to people like Moxie, I think Joltspro and others early as well, so they can get a review of the game out probably within a day or so of it actually releasing. So I think they're being really proactive about making as much information as possible available to the community before the game's even released. So that's I think that's really good to see. So let's just have a look at the. So there was a chap called Lothric has created a build creator or skill tree calculator. It's in work in progress stage. A lot of the values aren't in there yet because they haven't been announced. So only the Graveborn and the Stabbermancer, we've actually got the skill trees with the values you get for each level, and I can show you that in practice. For the other ones, all we know are what are the skills. And so I think, obviously I would suspect very shortly after launch we'll get an updated version of this. But one of the things I think is really nice is they've also got the hero stats on it, which I think is really, it just really helps if, going into the game, what character am I going to play and how am I going to start to build it? Because I don't know about you, but when you're playing sort of those Borderlands games with the skill trees, you get your skill point and you're just like, well, I want to get back to the action, so I just throw it into here. Whereas this actually, you can kind of plan it out beforehand. So let me try and pull that up. So there you go. So hopefully you can see that on screen now. Shout if you can't. And you can also see on there, I've got the Outriders one as well, which is another great one if you want to do your builds on Outriders and you haven't already. So you've got a number of options here. You have the ability to call up all of the classes. So obviously you've got the multi-classing, so you can pick up both of those. You've got your hero stats, and it won't let me go into that until I've started putting some points in because it assumes I'm at level 0. And then you can actually do a screenshot, or will be able to do a screenshot of it, so you can send it to people at a later date. So I'm going to start with the spell shot just because that's the class that I'm going to start with. It's the one that I think excites me the most. And yeah, you start off, it gives you your action skills. So for the spell shot, it's ambidextrous and polymorph. So ambidextrous literally just means that you can equip two spells. One in your spell slot, which would have been the old grenade slot from Borderlands, and then one in your action skill slot. So it means you don't have a separate action skill, but you do have the two skills. Now, the two spells, which that's really important for this class because the class feat of the spell shot is that every time you cast a spell, you get a stack of what's known as spell weaving, and those spell weaving then provide benefits to your build the more you can stack them up. So if you've got two spells, obviously you can actually chuck out a couple at a time or one after the other and keep these stacks building and building. The other way you can actually get those stacks is through reloading your gun, which you'll do naturally. Now, for me, the way I want to play it is I want to play it as a spellcaster. So what I'm always looking for within the passive skills, I guess you call it, the skill trees, is the ability to buff your spells as much as possible, whether it be their crit, their damage, their cooldown rate. Just to make them as powerful as possible, so you can pop them really, really quickly and keep popping them, and then actually you'll get all the benefits of doing so within the class tree. So the other option would be polymorph, and I think that one is more about, I'd say, if you're playing as a more of a gun user, or you just want that extra crowd control so that you can stop, obviously. For any enemy and take them out of action for a little while by turning them into a skeep, as they call them, rather than a sheep, and they are a sheep, but there you go. So I'm going to go with ambidextrous will be my build. Then in tier 1, you have the options of spell sniper, increasing spell critical hit chance. You have magic bullets, which buffs your gun damage based on the spell damage bonuses you're getting. And then you got the one I can't say ever, and I'm not going to bother actually, something about reload speed. There you go. Improves your reload speed. I cannot say that word very easily. I had to do it about 5 times when I did the video on it. So it's there. You can read it yourselves. Now I think for me, I'm going to be going with initially with Spell Sniper. And with previous Borderlands games, you need to pick up 5 before you can open up the next tier. So I picked up those 5. That then opens up Font of Mana, which increases your spell cooldown and your action skill cooldown rate. Your Mage Armor, which basically means every time you get a spell weaving stack, you get some of your shield back. And then the Just Warming Up, which increases the fire rate for every spell weaving stack. I mean, they're all good options. Personally, I'm gonna go with the Font of Mana because, as I said, I want to pop off as many spells as I can, and because I've got one in my action skill and one in my spell slot, that's going to actually benefit both of them. So for me, that's going to be really, really powerful. The next 2 that I'm going to pick up actually are these 2 together. So Mage Armor, so that it's replenishing my ward, and the reason is because of Glass Cannon. So with Glass Cannon, you get, as it says, drastically increases spell damage. So, obviously it's going to give you a big buff. And again, as I say, we don't know the percentages on these yet because they haven't been announced. So we should know in 7 days' time when the game comes out. But as it says, your ward, your shield, no longer automatically recharges. But that's then where the Mage Armor comes in, that you're popping your spells and it's going to actually replenish your ward and make up for the fact that it's no longer recharging. So you get all the positives of Glass Cannon and the damage increase, but you don't get the negatives. Now, then I'm going to go back and pick up Magic Bullets. I just think we're going to be doing a lot of spell damage and we're going to get a lot of spell damage bonus. So we pick up those 3 and that's going to open up the next tier. So you can see how this calculator works. I think it's a great thing. Your tier 4 options are imbued weapon, high thread count, and Warcaster. Now, I like all of these, to be honest, and in my final build, I will pick them all up, but I want to get to sort of the last tier first, so and then we'll come back to them. So I'm definitely going to pick up high thread count so I can have more stacks, as this is what the build is all about. And then I'm going to go for Warcaster. I think this is a really good skill in terms of every time we kill anyone, there's that chance that our guns are instantly reloaded. So for sustained damage, that's excellent. So that opens the next layer, and in fact takes us one over. We're going to pick up Double Knot because whenever we hit a critical hit with a spell, we're going to deal bonus damage. So that synergizes really well with Spell Sniper. And then also one slot, one kill. So as we stack up our spell weaving stacks by casting spells, we're going to actually get more gun damage as well. So some great synergy there. And then that opens up the final one, which is where grand critical hits have a chance to instantly reset all our spells on a short cooldown, which I think is great because, if you can get the your critical hit chance up really high, then you're going to be able to just keep pumping out spells, keep your spell stacks up, switch to your gun when they're on cooldown, hit some critical hits, and they come back immediately and you're off again. So you can see there's some great sort of rotation that can go on there. So that's 26, and we're going to have 40 points in total. From what I understand, max level is 40. Now, typically with Borderlands games, you don't get anything at level 1. Level 2, you pick up your action skill for 1 point. But what they're going to do is at certain points during the journey up to 40, you'll get extra points being kicked in. So that gets us to the 40 points. So then we come on to our multi-class, and I think the one that will work really well for this build will be the Pyromancer. And the reason is because of the Pyromancer's class feeds, which is, and we'll see it on here, I think, if we go down here. So yeah, here we go. Within the Pyromancer, we've got the critical hit chances increased by 30%, which obviously then synergizes really well with a lot of the skills we've picked up, because this will apply to both, my understanding is this is like your base critical hit chance that applies to melee, spells, and to weapons as well. So immediately we're on 30% there. And we've got probably, I would guess, another 15% here. So up to 45% on a critical hit chance on spells and 30% on a gun. So already we're starting to look like we're building up quite a nice build here. In terms of the Pyromancer's tree, the ones I'd probably pick up is just this one, Arsenal, because it's just a straight buff to damage. And you can see here, this has got the values in it. And you can see, and that's why I'm sort of guessing we'll get 3% crit, is because it looks like a lot of the levels on the skills are about 3%. So I'd take all 5 of those, just because I think, 15% extra spell damage, 15% extra gun damage, that's a really nice buff to take. And to be honest, there isn't anything else I really looked at on the Pyromancer's class tree and thought, yeah, definitely need that one over what we can pick up within the spell shots. I was slightly tempted by Exploit the Weakness, whereby once we apply a status effect, we get 2% increased damage per status effect. But it's only 2%, and I'm just not sure. I think some of the stuff we can get on the spell shots class tree are better. So I would probably go back and pick up, the 5 imbued weapon. Now, it all depends when we see it, what these percentages are. So, if the guns deal bonus damage and it's 1%, well, no, I'm not going to pick it up. But if it's 3%, and this means potentially I can get, another 15% bonus damage on my guns, well, that feels pretty good to me, actually, other than maybe only 6% from Exploit the Weakness. So I would pick up sort of all 5 of those. And then we've got 4 points left. And I would probably pick up the fire rate, to be honest. And there you go. And that's sort of your skill trees. Now, the other thing we've got is hero stats. So this is quite interesting. So within the hero stats, basically, they all start off at 10. If you go below 10, then you start to get negatives, negative modifiers coming in. Above 10, you get positive modifiers. And so, I mean, I think for this build, again, yeah, obviously I'm looking to maximize as much as possible my spell cooldown rate, my action skill cooldown rate, so I can pop out my spells as fast as possible. The other thing I'm really interested in is the critical hit chance as well, though, because that will then actually trigger some of the procs within the skill tree, as well as, of course, you know, this one is your base critical hit chance, so it benefits all of your different types of damage, whether it be melee, spell, or guns. Now, one of the things you can do is pick a backstory. And for this one, actually, I would probably go with Rat Pack. So you do get -2 dexterity, so it's going to reduce your critical hit chance. But it does buff your intellect, your intelligence by 2, and your achievement by 5, both of which directly benefit what I'm trying to do with this build. And then the -2 constitution, I don't really care that much, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I should be at range. I'm not going to be in close. Yeah, it means I'm a little bit squishy, but it's not massive. And you can see it's actually only, if I put it in, it's a -5%. So I'm probably not even going to notice that. And with the ability of this build to replenish your wards all the time, yeah, I can see the potential that that really won't matter at all. Yeah, you'll have a lower health, but you'll be topping up all the time. So, yeah, in terms then you have, as you can see here, you've got 40 hero points, which will stack up over time that you can actually then put into this. And so you can actually, if you look at some of the maxes we can go up to, so dexterity, I could get over 36% critical hit chance. And you look at that and go, well, I get 36 from there. I get 30 from there, so I'm at 66% chance if I took all of that. And then from skill sniper, I get maybe another 15%. So suddenly I'm at 81% spell critical hit chance. And then all you're looking at really is, can I pick anything up from, any of the sort of enchantments, the rings, the amulets, the gear that you're picking up within the game that will get me to 100%. And you can see this is really, it could be very possible to get to 100% critical hit chance with this. Now, there is a formula that then calculates how that translates into what the final numbers will be for both spells, and I'm probably going to do, I will probably do a video on this next week and sort of cover this and put it out and just say, hey, look, if you're thinking about, and I will probably cover every class and say, look, here's some sort of, you know, my sort of views on some of the starter builds, so you can just get up and running when the game launches and get into it. And I'll put on there then the formula for how critical hit chance is. But certainly it really looks like you can get up towards 100% critical hit chance, which I think is awesome. Yeah, I mean, that really is. Now, funnily enough, I probably wouldn't put all of my there, because what I really want, because I want the spell weaving stacks, is I'd max out my attunement, so I get 25% action skill cooldown rate, which feels pretty good. Now, again, the bit we don't know, of course, is how long's the cooldown. Yeah, if your cooldown on your spells is, I don't know, 3 seconds, I'm sure it won't be. Okay, so say 4 seconds. Well, that gives me a 1 second improvement. Is it worth it? Maybe. If your cooldown rate is 10 seconds and I'm getting a 2.5% improvement, suddenly I'm going, okay, yeah, that's quite meaningful. And then again on the intelligence, you know, whack that up. I'll have to take a few off here, but I can get to, there you go, 16% critical hit chance. Yeah, I might stack it up. I'd probably end up with about 20% on there. Let's stack that down to 20%. And then whack this up as much. And there you go, that looks pretty good to me. So I'm getting a 30%, so I've got a base 60% critical hit chance, plus the 15 maybe I'm getting from a skill tree. So I'm looking pretty good, 76% spell critical hit chance looks pretty damn good to me. So as I say, I mean, I just wanted to show you this this calculator, because I think it's a really good source. And I think it will be, you know, once obviously all the values have been released and they can build it in better, then you can start to see, you can actually really use this to create builds, and then obviously take a screenshot of this so that you can then share it with others. So I think a really good tool. As again, I say, it's Lothric. I'll put if I can into the description the link to this. But I think definitely worth checking out. Now, I did mention before that for the... Actually, what I'll do is I'll just reset that to nothing. Set these all to 0 so it doesn't impact on anything. So I did mention about the Graveborn, and that we do have values in there. And you can see here, although that purple is impossible to read, but so on this one, you know, I'm getting 3% maximum health per level, which is where I'm starting to get the feeling that 3% will be somewhere of a standard increase, and certainly we've seen it in previous ones. But this one actually does have, and there you go, 3% damage dealt per level per companion. It's interesting, the Graveborn actually looks like it has a really overpowered skill combination. So you can get 9% damage per companion. I'm just going to throw some... yeah, you got this kill skill rate as well, so that's quite useful. The thing about this is, so here we go, this is really hard to read with that purple, but basically the kill skill there is the companions deal 9% dark, bonus dark magic damage per stack for 12 seconds. So that's quite nice. Max stacks of 2. So you can start out. You've got another kill skill here, which is that you can summon 3 Hydras on a kill with a 60% chance. Okay, I don't know whether that's 60% for all 3 or 60% per 1 up to 3. So basically it's separate ones. But I mean, I think, and we'll see about that. And let me just put some things in here, because where I'm trying to get to, here's another kill skill where you got 2% maximum health and spell damage per level, which would be very useful in terms for bumping up that. I'll just stick another one into there to open these up. That's a really cool one, isn't it? Actually, as you lose health, you gain more damage. Yeah, that's quite interesting. Let me just put some in there to open that, because the one I want to get to is, there you go. That last one where casting a spell automatically activates all of your kill skills. That suddenly you're looking at going, holy crap. Yeah, so suddenly you pop that, and potentially you're going to have 3 Hydras suddenly appear. You're going to be doing massive more damage. You're getting a buff of your damage. Now, it says 9% damage dealt per companion. That, I believe, applies to the damage you do as well. So suddenly I've got my own companion, which will be the Demi Leech, which is the class feat for the Graveborn. Doesn't matter which one of these we pick. But yeah, so suddenly you got that one. You got 3 Hydras potentially, so you're up to 4. And then you can also then say, okay, I'm going to pick Spore Warden, because the Spore Warden comes with the mushroom, the shroom companion. Okay, so I've now got 5 companions, and each one is giving me a 9% bonus damage. So I'm getting 45% bonus damage every time I cast a skill. Now, yeah, I get there's only a 60% chance you get the Hydras, but you could get lucky and they could all pop. The other thing is there are guns where their reload actually puts out another Hydra. And does that count as companion or not? I don't know. But if it does, maybe you can get up to 6. So you're up to 54% damage boost. You can see that potentially with this thing, there could be massive stacking. And then I think, what was it on the... Yeah. And then you can say, okay, let's put 5 into that one on the Spore Wardens into Kindred Heart. And so suddenly all of those companions, potentially 6 companions or more, are going to be doing increased damage. And then there is another one. It's not that one. This one's just, I don't know. This one I was just like, oh God, this is real Borderlands, isn't it? So basically your mushroom can fart and it's poisonous and then lures or taunts all the enemies into the fart cloud. And I was just like, oh, all right, fine, okay. That's Borderlands. We're going to have to put up with some of that. But the one I wanted, there was another one. Is it? Okay. I mean, and that's really good as well. The fact that your mushroom will actually bring you back to life. But I think... You know, it wasn't. I think that's the best you can get. But you can see immediately you got, you know, potentially sort of a 54%, 45%, 54% damage buff, and all of your companions are buffed as well. It feels really overpowered. So the Graveborn could be a really interesting class to go for as well, coupled with even a Spore Warden. I mean, I like that one because of the fact you're getting then buffing all of the damage of all of those 5 or 6 companions, which makes the most sense. But you could also at the push go for the Clawbringer, because the Clawbringer has its Wyvern companion. And this one, I think the only thing you can really do is just add lightning damage or fire damage to your companion. And I think there isn't anything really else you could pop on there for companions. But yeah, okay, that's just well, that's interesting, because then you've got another kill skill there, so that could come in quite nicely as well. So maybe we put in I don't know, let's just do lightning damage. We then put in, I don't know which one. I'll just put on any of them. But then you pop on that one, and that kill skill is going to be triggered by this as well. And so at the point you pop the kill skill, you get the damage increase for all of your companions. You get all the extra companions for those Hydras. And then also you'd get, it would pop a fire orb or lightning orb in this case that would go flying towards the enemy. Okay, that's quite interesting. You got real sort of instant burst damage, which could be great in certain scenarios. So yeah, some interesting ones there to play around with. So okay, so that's the Wonderlands skill calculator. I'll put a link into the description once this video goes live, and I've cut out that start bit when I didn't turn the mic on. Don't tell anyone; they'll never know. And so that you can have a look at it and play around with it if you want before the game comes out. Let me just rearrange my screen so I can see. Hello everyone, great to see you all. I think we've got 3 or so. We had a few more people on. We lost a few. Let me know who's on. And Andrew, good to hear all's good with you. I'm still looking forward to coming over to London. So, on the news front, it's all quiet on the Outriders front, sadly. We are still not heard a single thing on World Slayer. So, we're going to have to keep waiting for that one. As already mentioned, Tiny Tina's 7 days to launch. They're pumping out the content on a daily basis. I definitely go onto their website, which is, I think it's Play Wonderlands or something like that. But if you search up Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, you'll find it. Really good site. It's got all the dev diaries on there. It's also got all the background information about each of the classes, and also the world dynamics, enemies. Everything, characters, NPCs in there. Really good source if you want to, find out more about the game, decide whether you want to play it or not. Clearly, I will be. Probably the one area where there's been quite a bit of news in this last week, I would say, is Division. And I'm just going to see if I can pull it up, because basically what happened was that on the Ubisoft store, if I can get it, I wonder if it's still there. But let me just get the right one. Yeah, I think it's this one. Was that Division Heartland has suddenly appeared on their store. Now the question is whether it's now been taken down or not. And I'm just having a look now. And funny enough, they actually spelt it wrong as well, which is just awesome. So it wouldn't surprise me if they'd taken it down. So they spelled Division with only 2 I's, which not the best. Yeah, it looks like they've taken it back down again. Yeah, they have. But yeah, so it went up fairly briefly then. But basically, it had all the artwork. It talked about the game modes. So basically, and you're going, okay, this stage, if you're putting it out there, and it's a free to play game, Division Heartland. If you've got it to the stage where you're, I guess, testing, or you're getting, you've got to that stage where you've actually got the storefront setup already done, they must be pretty damn close to releasing it now. So I think, it'd be interesting to see. I suspect, we may get something within the next couple of months on that one being launched. It looks good. I mean, there's sort of different modes. I've got to try and remember off the top of my head now. There's 2 different modes. So the game is PvE or PvPvE, and you start off by going into the PvE world, so that I guess it's like a tutorial, but also so you can get used to the game and how it plays. Then when you got through that, you can then go on to the PvPvE. Everything I've seen is it plays a little bit like is it Escape from Tarkov, which I haven't played myself. But it's that sort of, if you're going out, you're trying to get resources, and obviously with certain objectives, you have these roaming storms, or in this case, it's pollution, contagion, it's something like that that's floating around the map. So it isn't like the typical battle royales where you're in a circle that gets smaller and moving. There are parts of the map that are going to be moving around. They're just going to blanket it and make it unhospitable. Now you can craft things like gas masks or masks so that you can survive in those storms, or contagion clouds, poison clouds probably is the best phrase. You can survive in them, but and on top of that, I think there are 3 classes. It's not as complex as the Division games, so you haven't got all the builds to build, but there are some aspects of that. So you don't have all the gear. I think there's only like 3 pieces of gear you can pick up. And then rather than sort of the full sets you get in the Division game, and then you can and which I think you have to craft those as well, or find them. You don't start with them, and then it'll be the usual way you can carry some pieces over to the next bit, but not everything. So it looks interesting. I'll definitely be playing it when it comes out, hopefully in the next couple of months, and I think it should be fun. We'll see. We'll just see how the community actually takes it, because obviously all those games really only do well when they have enough people playing it. If you don't have the player base on a game like that, it's going to die very, very quickly, like quite a few of them have. Awesome. Cool. That was a lot of talking, wasn't it? So great. Good to see we've got 5 people on. Very good to have you all. Do shout out in the chat and let me know who's on. Let me know if things are okay where you are, and how life is treating you. So far we've run through that the skill trees for or skill tree calculator for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. We've also just then gone through a little bit of the news, which is mainly Division related. So let's now jump on to Outriders. And so what we're going to do for the rest of the stream, I'm going to quickly take you through the build I put out a couple of days ago now, which is a debuff build on the Pyromancer, and then we'll get some people in here and we'll go and run some expeditions. So let's start on that. So obviously this is the character here. And I didn't even bother. I tell you, this is I've got to this stage now. I didn't even actually bother to try and put on a different do any of the transmogging on it. So it's looking very basic, really. Now there was a few interesting things with this build, and as I said right at the start of the video, probably when no one could hear me, I came up with this build independently, but funnily enough, when I actually put it out there, someone jumped on and said, oh, hey, you should check out, it's actually called the Mod Bomber build, which is a community build that then Play-Doh Bear did a video on. And a lot of similarities between this build and that build, albeit I'm using different skills, and thus some of the debuffs are slightly different. The reason why it's a debuff skill is just because the base damage of actually, sorry, that's got the wrong things. I was doing something, but slap that on. Of thermal bomb, it's just too low. I mean, this is, you'll see I haven't particularly got any anomaly power with this build, but even with anomaly power, I'm stacking it up as much as I could, popping everything I could in terms of proccing stuff. I could only get it up to sort of 300, 400,000, at which point you're going, wow, I'm using a lot of my build to make this into not a very strong actual damage output. So it was that point I sort of thought, okay, I don't think the way to go on this build is to actually try Thermal Bomb, and I think Eruption is in exactly the same place. So you look at Eruption, I mean, again, there's no buffs on it there, but the base damage is so low and it scales so poorly with anomaly power, you can just never make it as strong as you want it to be. So, and that's the challenge with things like, like Eruption and that. It's unlike Phaser Beam, where Phaser Beam starts at a nice level. I mean, you're already at, 250,000. You put some debuffs onto it. It benefits from status power, and you can really stack it up really high, status Phaser Beam, and make it into the damage dealer within your build. But you just can't do that with Eruption and Thermal Bomb, which is why I think you have to go down that debuff route. And of course, with a Pyromancer, that means you're applying Ash. Yeah, it's the obvious debuff to use because so many of the skills actually already apply. I mean, you can see from here that Ash Blast, Feed of Flames, you're both applying Ash. Now, with an Ash debuff, you actually want to go top tree, and that's the weird thing is, when you think about this, is a skill-based build. It is not a pure firepower build. I'm very rarely using my weapons to deal the damage. Hey, gosh, I can't say that, but Trellana, how you doing? Good to have you on board. Yeah, let me know where you are. So anyway, so I got distracted there because that's a very interesting name. So yeah, so with this one, I'm not doing damage with my weapons, but you go top tree for debuff builds for Pyromancers because of the buffs you get, or the debuffs you get through it. So you have 2 Trial of the Ashes, 15% there, and then 10% there. So 25% debuff coming from that. Then you also have, Ashes to Ashes there. That applies Vulnerable. Now, Vulnerable did get nerfed a little bit quite a while ago now. So I think if you've been off, yeah, well, welcome back. Eventually we will get World Slayers coming out. Touch wood. We'll get some World Slayers. But yeah, hopefully we get something soon. I think there's a lot of people who are just waiting at the moment, which is fair enough. So you get Vulnerable now applies a 15% damage debuff to all enemies. So immediately you got 25% there, 15% there. The other things you can pick up through this is you can get the fact that Ash lasts longer, and that's actually really useful. There's 2 ways I'm making Ash last longer within this build. One is I'm stacking some status power, and 2 is through Curse of the Pompeii. The reason why you want to do that is so that you're extending the duration of Ash. So that's what status power buffs the damage of things like Toxic Burn and Toxic Burn, or mine's gone blank now, but of the damage dealing status effects. Whereas the state for Ash, Freeze, Slow, they actually extends the duration of those effects. So you're not going to do any more damage because you're stacking status power, but you will actually make all of these last longer, which is great because then you can get your combos off to deal more damage. The other thing I'm picking up through the build will be cooldowns. Because obviously you can see from here that the cooldowns of these skills are really low. So the longest one at 8.6 per second, but basically 6 seconds each time. So you are popping your skills all the time with this build. And the cooldowns are picking up. So we're picking up 2 Marble Orchards. There's one there which then does Feed the Flames. And then we're also picking up one Welder Blaze, which will do your thermal bomb. And then we've also got Wildfire for 10% globally for everything. Now, the other things you'll be doing is for your gear, you're picking up cooldowns on every piece of gear. So that helps to get all these down to such a low level. So, yeah, that's why we're taking the top tree in this rather than trying to stack Anomaly. I think the other thing on the Anomaly, when you look at it for the Pyromancer, it's just a bit... I think I said in the video I put out, technically, it's crap. Yeah, it's just, yeah, explosive. You get 12% extra anomaly power. I'm like, seriously? I mean, everything, pretty much any other. I mean, if you go up to here, you get 45%. So why the hell in the bottom tree did you only give us 12? I mean, that's... it doesn't extend slow duration. Okay, I thought it did. But anyway, yeah, maybe I'll do some testing on that. It does certainly for Ash, so it's quite to freeze. So definitely useful on that. I'll have a check on that actually, Orion. I thought it did. Let me just actually, I'm just going to go on to the... I wonder if it's on the Outriders wiki. And it may actually, let me just come out here a second and have a look in the HUD. Although this is, I wouldn't say this is actually particularly good. Yeah, so that just puts out what they are. So Ash and freeze, yeah, it's true. Actually, they don't put slow in as in the same category of status or crowd control, which is interesting. So yeah, you're probably right there, right? Good call. Let me just check on the wiki on that. We'll go back to there though. Yeah, interesting enough, slow is not deemed to be a status effect. Yeah. Very good. All right. Well, yeah. So you don't get anything from slow, but you do for freeze and ash. So useful in that point of view. Now, so yeah. So I was saying that the actual damage, the non-power up you get from the bottom tree is just crap. The other thing is even this. So the sort of ultimate from the bottom that increases your explosive damage, it's only 30%, and clearly I'm not going to do that when my explosive damage is so low anyway, because 30% of whatever the base is, because that's a buff number anyway with some of the stuff that's in there, it's going to add nothing. And I was just you look at that class tree and go, it's so odd that for the Pyromancer it's so rubbish, this bottom tree, really. And that's why you see, I mean, the best sort of builds really for the Pyromancer are anomaly power. Yeah, you'd pick up these, but you almost never pick up that one because it's too low. Yeah, you probably stop around here at the resistance piercing and then try and get something up there. But you look at the Akari Ash Blast Overheat builds, and it's, again, it works on the debuffs because the anomaly power you get much better anomaly power from the Akari gear set than you ever can from the bottom tree, really. So it's kind of not even worth using it. Which it's just that's one of the little ones to the class tree. I hope they change because it's just not very good. So looking at the gear now, another important decision I made was about using Damascus Offering. The big reason for that was because it has status power and skills life leech on there. So if you've seen some of my builds before, when we talked about it before in the live streams, I've typically used Funeral Pyre. I'm trying to think, this one, that's the Juggler. I'm trying to think one that's got actually everything on it modded. Oh, it's that one. Yeah, so I mean, I've used Shadow Comet and Claymore Torrent on the Funeral Pyre, and that's really good because, as you know, when you hip fire Funeral Pyre, or sorry, hip fire an automatic shotgun, you have the spread of the shells means that you have the opportunity to proc multiple times. I think it's maximum about 4, but it means you can get 4 Shadow Comets and 16 of the Claymore Torrents or Claymores coming down. So it can do an incredible amount of damage if you're using that hip fire on the funeral pyre. And certainly I've tested that, and yeah, absolutely you can get it. I think there's that bit in City of Nomads where you've got the just after the penultimate stage where you get the captain and the group there. That's perfect, because you just fire one of them and you see all these shadow comets dropping down onto them, all of them proccing because you're hitting so many of them. And again, yeah, I think the new expeditions from New Horizon are where, you know, that sort of really excels, because their density of enemies is so much higher than some of the original expeditions. But for this build, it doesn't come with skill life leech, which I think you need for the survivability, which we'll talk about in a second. And it doesn't have status power. And yeah, I really wanted that status power on there. So that's why I went and ended up going with Damascus Offering. And then quite often what I've been using in the past for my Moaning Winds has been the Roaring Umbra. But and both of them are good because they both come with status power on the Roaring Umbra and the Ammonoi. Hi, Tempest. So, you know, they're both good options, but I just found with this build, because you're popping things so often, actually just having something where you can flip to it and flip back again for the Moaning Winds, that was just so much easier to manage, rather than with the Roaring Umbra of just popping one shot and obviously then reloading to activate it. So I went with the Anamoi, Moaning Winds Radiation / Nuke. And in case I know there might be some new people on, you know, the simple thing with that one is you just empty your clip, which triggers it so as it goes. But before the animation, yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, I think it's you can get some very nice stats off them. So before the animation is finished, you swap your gun, and wait 8 seconds. I don't know how long that's been, but something like that. And then you just swap back to it. It pops and you swap again, and then another 8 seconds you can go again. And yeah, that's going to kick out 1 million of damage there or thereabouts, plus all the buffs, yeah, which we've already seen. So talking about buffs, you know, you're also getting more buffs. You're going to picking up Ashen Boost through your, and you can see the status power on the hat there I've got. You've got Death Sentence. So when you pop your Ash Blast, you're going to have that 30% extra anomaly damage. You've also then got Branded, which applies that 40% more damage to enemies. Interestingly, with that one, no, it hasn't got any cooldown or status period on it. I don't know if that's an oversight or whether it means that 40% damage buff is always there. Now I went down the wrong way. The Reforged gear set all come with skill life leech, unfortunately, rather than status power. So you are picking up, but it's not a bad thing, obviously, for survivability. And I am deliberately picking these ones up because I wanted the gloves for a little bit of extra max health. You've also got Captain Hunter, which is obviously great against elites. And then, yeah, I think that's it for the debuffs. I did put Ash Grasp on, so you're applying Ash through your thermal bomb as well. So I mean, all 3 of your skills are going to be applying Ash. So that it kind of means that you're always going to be able to keep everything Ash applied to pretty much everything, which I just think, you know, it helps not only with the debuffs in this case, but also crowd control, survivability then. And that's where, as I said, picking up the max health from the gloves, which then with the 2 max healths you're picking up here, you've also got more skill life leech coming through there. That gives you enough survivability. Now, on my boots at the moment, it has skill life leech. I prefer that to be status power. I don't think I need as much skill life leech as I've got, and I'd like a little bit more status power. So you can see in the stats, I've got 60% status power. I'd like that to be 90. My skill life leech is 28.5%. So it's pretty, it's pretty strong, but I don't really need it. I could do if that went down to 24%, that'd be perfect. That would be enough. In terms of, you're not getting a lot, you are, I would, Ashcast is great just because you can, you just freeze the entire map. The big thing about this build, though, is just it's the debuffs. Because if you stack up all the debuffs that are in there, you're basically getting about 290% damage debuff to, or additional damage being done to enemies, which, you know, this build is not about dealing damage per se itself. It does fine. You know, I ran Archways in under 10 seconds, Stargrave in 9 seconds, Scorched Lands in about, I think it was about 11 seconds. I mean, they're good times. They're not shoddy times. They're just very respectable. They're not top tier. I mean, they're on the verge of being top tier, but they're not that sort of, you know, that sort of when you're running Stargrave in, I think my best is like 6 minutes 50. And yeah, so you can go much quicker, but that isn't the point of this build. The point of this build is when you're running in a group, you're able to, you know, really buff the damage of everyone else you're playing with, as well as just everything is going to be frozen pretty much all the time. I mean, the other things to pick up on here, you've got Ash increased range, so you are covering the entire map with Ash Grasp. You've got that thermal bomb. You've got, I don't know, you don't necessarily need to take Fire Frenzy because the cooldown is only 6 seconds on thermal bomb anyway. I like it. You know, the way the Reforged gear set works is that you alternate. You pop your Feed the Flames, then you pop your thermal bomb, then you pop your next Feed the Flames. But Feed the Flames, that's hard to say that actually. Feed the Flames does so little damage. I mean, it will, with all these buffs that are flying around, it will do over 100,000 damage, but I mean, it's just not enough to really be of any interest to us as a damage dealing. So the fact that you can go Feed the Flames, 2 thermal bombs with the second one not getting that buff before going back to Feed the Flames, I'm like, yeah. Or you just don't always pop both of them at once. You know, you pop one of the thermal bombs, yeah, after the Feed the Flames. You don't put, you know, you just keep it. It's just, I quite like it where you have a group of enemies where you can pop it twice and then they just, once one goes off, it then sets the next one off, sets the next, you know, you can have up to 4 bombs there because we're also picking up, I think it was on, yeah, there you go, Double Fun, good name. Yeah, you can have up to 4 bombs applied across a whole series of enemies, all of which you will get 40% damage buff, which is great. I kind of feel it's quite a nice thing to have, but definitely not a must-have. If you had one and wanted to go for something different, you definitely could do. Yeah, if you wanted to maybe go for, you could go for Kindred Bullets, I think it is, isn't it, or whatever. The mod that increases burn damage to enemies afflicted by burn by 20%, possibly, because thermal bomb does apply burn, so it'd be useful in that scenario. But it's not the ideal because most things got Ash rather than that. Yeah, and then I think, yeah, that's why I think there's just not a lot else that I'd really go for. There's a few things you could have a play around with. I mean, you could even go with, let me just go with Dr. Zahidi. You could go with, I forgot what it's called actually off the top of my head, but where is he? There he is. You've got the Feed the Flame skill that replenishes your ammo. But you're not really doing any. Actually, no, you definitely want that because that would impact on your Moaning Winds nuke. But it's just I don't think there's a massive amount that you'd really want in there. I mean, yeah, you could do a bit more damage with the Ash Blast, which again, with all the debuffs, yeah, that's useful. I mean, that's going to do 100,000 damage plus to. You know, to every enemy that you do Ash Blast on, which could be useful, particularly chip away at enemies. So that could be an option. I wouldn't use that one. Then, yeah, you could do that and then you apply burn, but not really because everything is focused around Ash. That's not bad. The lasting fire to actually keep them frozen for a little bit longer. So you then make sure that your thermal bomb is there. But you're going to be popping Ash Blast anyway. So will you get that much use for them? I mean, you probably pop Ash Blast into a thermal bomb or Feed the Flames into thermal bomb, then Ash Blast. You can play around with it. That's actually big boom could be useful. I didn't. I think it's okay, but because 20% isn't a massive increase. So yeah, I kind of think the one I've gone for is probably the one I would stick with. See, that's you could apply burn, but where would you then fit the bullet kindling in to actually then get the damage from to the extra damage to burn enemies with burn? It's tough to know what you drop out really. So I think the Fire Frenzy is just not a bad option to go with. You've already got that. You've already got that. And yeah, I just don't think there's much else. Yeah, because you're not doing weapon damage, so weapon leech is useless. And so I don't. There's not a lot. You don't. Normally with an anomaly build, you pick up something like power simulation, but that will tweak your damage up a little bit, but as we've already said, the scaling of these is not really coming from anomaly power. It's coming from the debuff, so I'm just not sure it's really worth it. Yeah, if you could, actually, one thing to do is if you're struggling for survivability, and I haven't found it's a problem per se, but if you're struggling for survivability, you could swap out Fire Frenzy for Damage Absorber, and that would, potentially might be a good one, but I think it's not a bad build as it is for applying lots and lots of debuffs. So I think on that, no, that's the build. As I said, I think it's a good debuff build, and I'm interested to see how it does in group play, how it buffs the damage of everyone with all these debuffs being applied, particularly with I don't know. If Ryan, you get on, you've got your debuff build as well. So it could be, I'm not sure how they stack up. I presume they don't double up. Otherwise that would be ridiculous. So let's get some people in. Okay, I was just trying to remember where the matchmaking was on this bit. So who wants to join then? I mean, anyone is welcome. I know Tempest and Ryan, I'm sure you'll join. But if anyone else... Going once, going twice, and then we'll... All right. No other takers. All right. So, Tempest, Ryan, do you want to jump on? Yeah, I didn't think they would. You have to bring one of your other classes, Ryan. Trelana, you're more than welcome to join us. All right. You're going to go with your Devastator? Everyone's quickly logging on, probably. All right, no worries, all right. Is there anyone else who wants to join before we just run a two-man? Don't be shy. All right, well, let's start one going. So you can see how we'll have a look at, the expectation is now, I'm thinking, Tempest, you probably do about 250 million of damage in a normal one. Now, there's only two of us, so we'll scale down a little bit. But let's see if that can buff it up a bit more. All right, what have we got? Marshall's Complex, Winter Stargrave. Let's go for the Marsh. Yeah, let's go for the Marshall's Complex. All right. So Tempest is going to be smashing them with an earthquake and applying actually bleed. Yeah, sure, Ryan. When you get back, just yeah, let us know and we'll get you in here. And as I said, anyone else who wants to join, please do. Yeah, it's always good to have people to run with. And if you want us to carry you because you're not up to that level to get some gear, happy to do it as well. You got that one? Alright, so there's the thermal bomb triggering. I could actually pop, but there you go. Oh, you gotta leave some of them alive for me to kill. That. I've got to get back into my rhythm unless I haven't played it for a little bit. Whoa! Did you see that? That was awesome. He just kind of like popped out. You taking that one? I'll start pushing over the other side. And the great thing as well about the oh God, get up. Yeah, of the Feed the Flames, it just heals you up to max straight away, which is great. Oh, of course I didn't set up my... Oh, that was clever, wasn't it? I didn't set up my raining winds before we started. Let's pop that. There it goes. Alright, that's ready for next time then. Alright. Okay. It's doing reasonable damage. Hey, Andrew. Well, yeah, speak to you again soon. Thanks for joining. Alright, pop that. Have a great weekend as well. Alright. Alright, they should be dead. Nice. I just left one to be. Alright, let's pop that. Pop that on the next one. Pop that. Actually, there you go. Oh god, I hate that when that happens. Freeze bullets is I use the thingy. Freeze bullets is a pain in the ass sometimes. You can see the sort of buffs you get in there because the Shadow Comet's doing, what, 660,000 damage. So it's quite a nice uplift. Alright, what did we leave? Alrighty. Come on, over here. Where's he going? All right. Very nice. Actually feels like spring here now, which is great. Temperature's got a lot better. It's so cold here in New York. I think one of the great things as well about the Ash Blast, oh god, I screwed that up, is the fact it just helps so much in reducing the amount of damage you take. Particularly on sort of expeditions like this one where there's just a lot of gunfire going on. Very easy so far. That's good. You see how quickly it comes back again as well, so that it's able to pop it twice there. And again. Now it doesn't always work on all of the elites, but enough of the time it does. You got two snipers. Yeah, okay, alright. It doesn't always stop all the damage. But yeah, no, snipers are still a pain in the arse. That's No one likes snipers in this game. Alright, I'm going to be probably a little bit too aggressive, but let's pop that. See if we can get a few explosions going. Alright, there's one of the crawlers down. And oh, that was a big hit. Alright. So I guess that's the other thing, isn't it? Is that Ash Blast is good for crowd control, freezing all the enemies and keeping shots away from you. The other thing to do is to always have a Devastator with you. You can take the bullets. There's nothing, yeah, nothing wrong with a meat shield. That's what I say. Nice. Very nice run. Hey, you got 6 people in here. Always very good to have you on. If anyone else wants to join us, we're just running some expeditions to try out this debuff build. See how it fares in group. I'm hoping we'll see that 10% damage and damage from anyone else who joins us will be buffed quite a bit as a result. Certainly works, I think, well from a crowd control point of view. Alright, so look. Yeah, it's nice. I always love that your accuracy is 0%, yeah, Tempest. It's just like, yeah. That's the pure anomaly build there for you. I'm a little bit disappointed though. You spent, yeah, time in cover though. 5 seconds, come on. This game isn't a cover shooter. It's good stuff. But he's putting out good damage. I think both the builds are. Oh god, I've got to clear this out, haven't I? Or else I'm going to run out of space in about 3 seconds. Sorry about this. Quickly do this. Get out of here. I'm not even going to look at it. I have too much gear. I wonder if they're going to increase the stash space in the World Slayer. That would be very good indeed. Yeah, now they can. Yeah, they still hit really, really hard. All right. Anyone else want to join us? We have room. I want to give it a second. You know, if people want to boot up the whatever it is, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, we're not picky. No. Alrighty. What we'll do is, I know my stepdaughter should be coming back any second now. So, oh God, do we really want to do Molten Depths? Oh, certainly don't want to do it. This be interesting. Yeah, this is a real test, isn't it? The Wellspring. Yeah, against that the Shaman Warlord. That could be pretty tough. Let's give it a shot and see. I'll be interested because the survivability of this build is definitely not as strong as some of the other builds I've created. So I'll be interested to see how we do against it. It's a tough one. You still playing Lost Ark, Tempest? I seem to remember, yeah, it's like, yeah, I seem to remember you saying you were trying that. I've been seeing, obviously, the amount of money people are spending on that game is just crazy. I said, well, wait, let me just see where she is. All right, she's going to be here in a minute, so we'll don't start just yet, Tempest. We'll I'll open the door for her, and then you won't be trying to take on everyone all at once, because she'll be back in a second. Hang on, I'm going to sort that out. Go on then. Howdy, howdy. Oh, you're not being able with the servers. Yeah, no, I mean, the servers, particularly in Europe, were awful, weren't they? I think US didn't really have a problem, but actually, sorry, I just realised I've got the sound on now. I put my headphones on, so it's not getting any echo. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. God, clearly a week away from streaming has left me with no idea what I'm doing. All right, let's do it. But there was, why can't I hear anything? All right. Something not quite working. All right, no mind. I'll do it without sound. I'll sort it out in a second. And of course I didn't set up my gun again. That's better. Alrighty, let's pop that. Come on. Obviously this hasn't triggered the boss to come out. The elite. There he comes. Right, let's freeze him. Okay, none of those are working. Interesting. Nice. But yeah, so I was saying about Lost Art, wasn't I? I must take these headsets off because I can't hear anything in them at the moment. I'll sort that out in a second. I'm doing it all without any sound. I'll put a little bit on here. Shout if that's a problem. Yeah, there's people that are spending crazy money. They had a whale on. Who I think he had spent something like $15,000 on it so far, which just, I mean, it's just insane numbers. Well, I guess it just gets you like that, isn't it? I mean, because that game is all about, I mean, it's just pure play to win. And the way they've actually released content as well, I understand, has been, yeah, it's basically encouraging people to do it because you've got this new raid coming out pretty soon, of which there was no notice of it. And in order to get into it, you need to be, I think it's, gear score 1370, which means you just have to spend money to get there. I don't know if any of you watched any of the videos on it, on the game, but you level up your gear. It's basically a gambling thing, really, whereby you have a percentage chance of success, which is ridiculously low. It's like 15% to upgrade your gear. I'm just going to try and keep everyone off our backs, really, by keeping them... oh, get out of there. Frozen as much as possible. You take him out and I'll clear up everyone else. There you go. It's a good deal, that is. Alright, everything's dead for the moment. Yep, back. Thank you. That was stupid. I walked straight into that. Alright. Then we go and clear out the other side. Alright. Whoa! Walk straight into those. Alrighty. That's pretty good, actually. We survived. I think the build's holding up so far pretty well. I mean, for what it is. Oh god, I got hit hard there. Ah. Alright, I'll be back. I'll pull myself up. Just got to be a little bit careful here. Alright, that's good. Got a few of those off. And there. Yeah, I was watching this morning, and there was, I think it was Shroud was playing it, and he just like popped $5,000 in basically just I think you can do 1,000 a day, but which is just crazy that they didn't let you spend that much on it. But just popped all this money just to get to the next level, and it's like, really? That's just insane to me. And yeah, he's Asmongold was talking to one of the Giga Whales, and yeah, they just throw so much money in there, and you just kind of think, why? It's just not worth it. But anyway, keeps them happy, I guess. Alright, head over this side. Alright, the brute knows that. Let me just take these guys out. It's ready for the next phase. Why isn't that triggering? Who knows? That's better. There we go. Very nice. Frames buzzing. All right. Sucker on that. Yes. All right. Oh yeah, look at that. See, that's sort of the debuffs kicking in, and you get sort of 500, 600,000 for a Shadow Comet, which is nice. Yeah, that makes sense actually. 600,000 being 300%, so very nice indeed. All right, still got 4 people on here. Almost 2 hours in, about an hour and a half. Great to have you on board. And yeah, we're still, if anyone wants to join us for some expedition runs, we'll be doing a few more. Yeah, let's get rid of all this gear. Just testing out this debuff build. Yeah, I think it's certainly a good one in a team from the point of view of all of the ash is very useful for just mitigating any potential damage that all the enemies are putting out. And it's doing enough damage that it holds its own. It's certainly not so low on there that it's a problem. And hopefully it's just really, you know, buffing up all your damage output. Alrighty. There you go, nice. Alrighty. Anyone want to join us? We have 4 people on, so there's at least 3 others on. If you want to join us, please do. It doesn't matter level or anything like that. One day I'll work out why my headphones aren't working. I can't even get this out again. Hang on a sec. Let me see if I can do the old unplug and plug back in. My internet went down last night and spent sort of half an hour on the phone with Optimum in this area, and Optimum I'm sorry, they suck. That's at max already. Basically, the solution in the end was we just reset everything and then turn it on and off, as always. That's better. I got sound now. It's always the way, isn't it? If any IT problems, turn it on. Turn it off, turn it back on again. There you go. I could work in a tech role, I feel. Right, we've done Marshall's Complex. Let's try Stargrave. I mean, that's a nice quick one as well. Anyone want to join us before we go in? Last chance. We'll probably run about 1 more after this one. Maybe 2. Would be great to get more people in here. Actually, Ryan might be back, mightn't he? As well, which would be good. Nine times out of 10, yep. Yeah, no, exactly. What's going on with the fantasy football? Okay, all right. Okay, Ash Blast. They're gonna die. Pop this. Oh, gee, I did it again. I've been a bit useless today about setting up my moaning winds. I mean, it's not necessarily a big issue, but all right. He's down. All right. I'm just going to keep the Ash Blast up all the time if I can, just so that it's. I mean, that's where I think Ash and Freeze are so good on these maps where there's just a lot of gunfire. I mean, it's many a time you can just die running down that channel. Okay, popping that. All right, I'm gonna come back and take some of these out. Let's get another Ash on. Pop that on, an Ash Blast. Nice. Right, let me try and take the Warlord down. He's got a whatever it is. I'm a bit low on health here, but you can see there as well that when come on, I hate it when they do that. That Feed the Flames heals me up to pretty much full health in one go, which is nice to have. Oh, we missed one. Where is he? Oh, there he is. All right. Yeah, it's nice. Feed the Flames is just a great way to get your health back up really, really quickly. I can probably do that because it'll be back up again before they've even got it. Yep, there it goes again. Very nice. All right, see if we can get these down quickly. Very nice. I'm not sure you could do it much quicker than that. Very smooth. There you got 5 people on. Someone's joined us. Hey, good to see you on. We're just running some expeditions, testing out build. I'm gonna try and get some more up here, and then I'll pop that. All right. Ooh, nice. Phone is buzzing away. Okay. Very nice run. Yeah, second time I've had Reaper and since we've been doing these. It's fixed. All right. So I think we got. I've got one more run in me, and then I've got to drop off. Apparently, we're going to go to a brewery. So that's always nice, and it's nice and sunny out. Sit outside, have a few beers. Maybe not as many as Full Measure, but I'll do my best. Yeah, that's great, Ryan. Yeah, it's great. I'm actually just going to do probably one more, because then I've got to head out, catch the afternoon sunshine, as all of you should be as well. Why are you in watching YouTube? So let's get Ryan in. We'll run one more. I should be able to send you an invite, shouldn't I, if you're on, all right? Yeah. Let me know when you're on, because I think you'll show up on my friends. Should do. Yeah, if not, let me generate a code just in case anyway. So the code is 2351 2351 K1 T8. There you go. Just, but I'm turning everything on. I'll be there in a second. Awesome. There he is. It slowly connects us in. Okay. Oh, look, hang on. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Let's go for a bit of. We need to be aligned on this, don't we? All right. There we go. Let's do it. Right. Oh, it's got to be Drought Palace then, isn't it? Has to be to finish things off. Great one to finish off. Let's do it. Let's do this. One of my favourites. I didn't even notice what class you were playing. Pyromancer. Very nice. Actually, isn't that your support one? That'd be interesting. Yeah, no, exactly. Hey, we'll align on that one. I did it again, didn't I? Set up humans. Yeah. Ooh, nice. Alright, these are just going down ridiculously fast now, aren't they? So Race, I'll leave you two to get that one. Jeez. There's just so many debuffs going on there. It's crazy because you got all your freeze and poison, I guess, as well. That's insane. Right, this could be, come on. We can do this. World record run. I'll go left. Right, I'm going to get down the bottom. Come on, break his shield for God's sake. It's not bad at all here. 2 minutes 36. Keep your turrets up the top there, Ryan. Do 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 do. Definitely need elevator music right at the moment. It's hilarious, isn't it? There's just so much crowd control, it's insane actually. There you go. You might want to pick up some bullets, Tempest. I think you actually don't shoot, do you? Okay, that's good. Yeah, right. So we can get some of these down. Looks like that one's going down. Yep, 2 down. Nice. Alright. Very nice. Oh, look at those buffs. What if there's a cap on the number of debuffs you can apply? Yeah, similar to sort of the old World of Warcraft was. Nice. Nice. That's so quick, that was. Quick, open the door. Oh. Don't kind of last long enough actually to get thermal bomb on. There's one hiding. There would be. I'm sure he's scared. I would be. Wow. Very nice indeed. 7 minutes, 10 seconds. That's a quick time.
I suspect those guardians could sense our presence and wanted to communicate on some level. Perhaps they didn't want the sacrifice of the past to be forgotten. Or this is just my brain's screwed up way of leading us to the
You do like dear. That's funny as well. It's funny, Simple Star one came up and had me, I had to actually click show. For some reason, if you write bullets, it won't let you to just automatically post it. There you go. YouTube looking after us. Yeah, no, that was awesome. That was a really good run, that was. That's a good combination, that is. Yeah, we should sort of see how quick we can go, really, how fast we can go. Right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for the expeditions and for the stream. We'll close all things down now. So thanks everyone for joining me for almost 2 hours or about 2 hours. So it's great to have so many on. Great to see more people in the last minute, but really good to have you. So we covered the skill calculator for Tiny Tina's. We ran through the build, which was demonstrating there, which was the debuff build for the Pyromancer with thermal bomb, and also we did a bit of news about Division Heartland, which looks like it's coming out really soon. So yeah, do run back and have a look if you missed anything. I will quickly edit out the bit where I forgot to turn the mic on at the start, so no one will ever know unless they watch this bit, and then they will. And now I'm going to go and have a beer in the sunshine, and I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And we'll see you again next week. I'll probably going to stick to one stream a week, just because there's so many other streams. Albeit I know Full Measure I think is away next week, but there's so many other streams doing Outriders and similar content. So we'll probably try and just do one a week, and that'd be awesome. All right, I'll see you then, and have a great weekend. And Tempest, Orion, awesome runs again as always.